I sent off a zinger, and I'm like, you guys just don't know what it's like to run a business. I said, we move at a little faster pace than you guys, and da 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 da, da, and called them everything but a redheaded stepchild. Welcome to Cue the Mic. I'm Darren Morth.
And I'm the back at it again, handsome Randy Twyford.
And I'm Emma Derflinger, and this is episode 108. Also, fun fact, we've been officially recording for 2 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And we never thought we would make it past episode 2.
Nope.
Talked to a lot of
we did
people on
not.
the road that listen to this sumbitch.
Do they really?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people. I got to watch
Well,
what
I had a
say.
guy.
I got to watch what I say.
I know what you're saying. I had a guy come up to the truck. We were in Springfield, and he says that's what he does. He says when he's traveling, driving, he listens to First Monday. He's a competition cook, and listens to us every week. I'm like,
Yeah, I had a tow truck driver works up the road sent me a message about one of our employees, about how he was, one of our employees. He was in the other night, and he had the employee was working and had just taken the trash and dumped the trash, and he was wearing gloves. And this guy needed a lid for his side dishes, and how the employee was cognizant enough to change his gloves to secure a lid for the customer because he didn't want to cross contaminate.
Right.
And that left a lasting impression on our listener.
huh.
And he sent me an email, which of course I forwarded on to the GM, which we've already went back to the employee and say it does make a huge difference. Customers notice things like that. It's
Yeah.
it's the small things like that some people don't notice, but some people do notice. It was even as simple as, we were at a barbecue contest yesterday, and I was feeding my brother-in-law. His brother, who's from Minnesota, was there, and he showed up after rib turn in, and so I said, well, we turned in pork, and I said, do you want some pork? And so we took him some pork, and he goes, yeah, got a little too much sauce. And I said, oh, he's diabetic. And he's sitting there eating. I'm like, well, I got more in here with no sauce on it. And he goes, oh yeah, I take that. So I'm sitting there, and I got this half pan full of pork, and he's just sitting there eating it. And I'm like, I can put that in a to-go bag, right? And he's like, oh yeah. So he just throws it here on. I'm like, no, we'll put this in the cooler and on ice and get it cooled down because you've got
Right.
an hour to go. People don't think about the whole food save. Just the situational awareness is kind of funny. Even this morning as I, brought my wife breakfast, so that's how Mother's Day started. This morning I was started to, I had made plans. I got home last night. Sherry didn't go to the barbecue contest with me, but I'd made plans that we were going to get up and go to breakfast early before we recorded here. And she's like, yeah, I think I'll get up and go to breakfast. We'll go to breakfast for Mother's Day, but neither her or I don't like crowds, and we're sure the hell not going to go to breakfast on Mother's Day at 10 o'clock in the morning.
No.
And so we said, hey, we'll just go to breakfast at 7 a.m. And 5 a.m. the phone call came that we've got a brisket or a smoker full of briskets through a chain. And I'm like, okay, I'll be there in a little bit. So hopped in the shower and, hey, Sherry, no breakfast. Maintenance guy has to go to work. Okay, back she goes to sleep. So I went and got the chain on and whatever. And so I had a little bit of time left. And I'm like, I'm going to stop by It's My Jam and get her favorite chorizo tacos. And so I got chorizo tacos and ran them home for her and made myself a little sausage egg sandwich there and went home and had a quick 15-minute Mother's Day breakfast at home with her.
There you go.
And just get ready to she only ate one of the tacos, which I only almost made her one, but I'm like, it's Mother's Day. Maybe she wants to have two. So I made her 2 tacos, and she's like, "Oh, this is way too much. I'm going to save one for tomorrow for breakfast." And I said, "Okay, fine." Getting ready to put it in the refrigerator. I'm like, "Hey, make sure you vent that." Food safety. But anyway, just situational awareness that some customers notice things, but most people don't have a clue when it comes to don't have a clue when it comes to let's just throw this pizza on the counter and let it sit all night and eat it tomorrow.
Right.
Right?
I haven't died yet, so.
Oh, you're one of those.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, not in the last 3 or 4 years. Mom has gotten really intense about it, but before, yeah.
She's really intense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's big on her food safety.
She is big on food safety.
But
And that's a good thing.
It's a great thing. It's a great thing. Yeah, we've talked about doing food safety audits on ourselves. Because she'll walk through and notice things and complain or, say stuff to me about, hey, this is happening. I'm not seeing this. This isn't labeled or whatever. And I'll pass it on, or I'll see stuff or whatever. And sometimes I feel like we should just randomly go through and do our own audits instead of just random stuff. Because if I'm going to walk into a walk-in cooler, I guarantee I'm looking for, I just was at the chicken here. And when I walked in, I just happened to I had 5 extra minutes. I just happened to walk through and made sure everything was labeled.
Yeah.
Check out, because you always check the temperature. That's as an owner, and you hope as a manager that you always check to make sure temperatures are right on a cooler.
Yeah.
Just getting ahead of it.
Because if you don't, it'll get ahead of you. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. And so this weekend we were, I took off. Sherry didn't go. So I took Jeff Wilkerson from the Smoky D's Wannabes with me up to Minnesota in May. And so, for those that don't know, Jeff used to work for us early years. And I think he said yesterday, 2008. He probably worked for us for
probably.
8, and he'll correct me. He knew exact dates on everything. Right? I mean, I brought up something on the way home last night. I'm like, oh, yeah, so-and-so worked for us for what? That started back in whatever. He goes, no, he didn't. He started in October of da-da-da-da. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, and so anyway, so Jeff worked for us early on for probably 5 or 6 years. I don't know, maybe 4, 5, 6, 8, whatever. So anyway, and he was an integral part of our operation starting up, and he was that young snot-nosed kid that wanted to learn everything, and he learned a lot, and then moved on and went to do different things. But now he's our PFG driver. He's moved around and he's in the trucking operation, whatever. So we had a good time cooking, but we talked a lot about just thinking ahead. And that was kind of the theme all weekend long about our conversation. Was it really came down to begin with the end in mind. The old Stephen Covey thing that I've talked about a million times. And I think that's the one core thing. If we could get every single manager and every single person on staff in the most perfect world, would every move you think begin with the end in mind?
What you're going to end up doing?
Every move made. Just, think about if you're serving food, think about the customer, think about the food safety, think about, he was even driving truck. He was showing me pictures on sometimes how they load these trucks, and he'll say, hey, look at this picture. And here's this entire pallet of, boxes of brisket and everything. And he says, see that? Yeah. That's the box of tortillas that goes to your restaurant on the bottom. That's my first stop. So then he had to unload that entire pallet to get to that one box.
Right.
And that happens every day. and it just waste all kinds of time and all kinds of labor hours and whatever, just because the warehouse decided they weren't thinking about the end in mind. They were just loading a trailer.
Get it loaded. Get it on the pallet.
Just get it on the pallet, right? And instead of reloading it, and so then they try and reload it in the truck. And what happens is when you reload it in the truck and then the truck takes off, it's not secured, and then shit falls over, and then you got damage, and you got all kinds of stuff. So it just all kinds of great conversation about begin with the end in mind, just about everything you do, and for the staff that listen, just think about it. Just think about what we always talked about in the transportation business was you always had to have a backup plan. If something happened, what's your backup plan? Because you always had to have a backup plan on logistics. If this truck breaks down, what are you going to do? It's just in time inventory. If that plant's going to charge you $60,000 an hour to be down, you better have a backup plan.
Better have a backup plan. Exactly.
So it doesn't matter what's a restaurant. What's your backup plan? That's why we have 2 extra smokers sitting down, like this morning when it throws a belt or it throws a chain. What's your backup plan? I'm covered for today. No, I'm covered for today because we got 2 extra smokers. Got to get it figured out because all those smokers need to run by the weekend.
Exactly. By next weekend?
Well, by the middle of the week, because as we go into our busiest, Mother's Day is our second busiest. Today's our second busiest day of the year. So,
and your first is?
It'll be Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Yeah, we set a record every year.
Do you really?
We set a record every year. I don't know. Sherry's like, I don't know how we can set a record, but we set a record every year after year. We set a record.
I'll be damned.
And, yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts.
You'll have lines out the door?
I'm not sure whether they ever go out the door. I'm not sure where the damn lines go, to tell you the truth, because I try and stay away. It would drive me batty to be there. They don't want me. I'm there in a support function only today.
Right.
Yeah.
I would do nothing but slow them down.
Yes.
I let them execute. My thing is, if you need something, you tell me. I will run get it. Oh!
I had that on silence.
You sure you didn't have that on the focus do not disturb button? Swipe down?
Swipe down. Do not disturb, yeah.
It was on do not disturb?
Some people, there's settings in there where certain people can still get a call through.
I got a good setting for it. Airplane mode.
Okay.
Fuckers. And it was a
Fair
spam
enough.
call.
Oh.
This
Weird.
early of a morning on a Sunday.
Huh.
They don't care.
Huh. No. They don't.
Back to Mother's Day at your place, Darren.
Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
Mayhem.
Mother's Day.
Mayhem. There's only one way to describe it. Mayhem.
I can only imagine.
We try it. We have every employee that we can get to work. We pay all the employees $5 an hour premium.
Do you really?
Mother's Day and Father's Day. So everybody gets paid $5 an hour on top of their additional whatever, just because we know it's hell. We know we're going to make a lot of money today, so we spread that money, and they're going to make, and tips are going to be higher today. They're going to make a hell of a lot of money.
Tips are typically higher on these holidays.
They'll be higher on these holidays. People come in, they're generous with tips, and it's just going to be hell. They're going to work their ass off. The day's going to seem like it lasts 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because they're going to do nothing but run. They're not going to have time to pee. They're not going to have time. I think we're catering in carnitas and donuts and fruit and stuff today. And so it's absolutely going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And then straight into graduations.
We have this next 4 weeks it's like boot camp for Navy SEAL training.
Your graduation business is big, isn't it?
It's huge. It's huge. We'll be running, I don't know, 200, 250 events a day.
Will you really?
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that big.
We'll run huge amounts of events on Saturdays and Sundays.
Oh, I bet.
Is that through all three, or like
Yeah.
Smoky D's?
Yeah, just
Honor
pretty
Chicken,
much,
Crafty
pretty
Mac,
much,
and
pretty much Smoky D's. We're not doing a lot of. We're starting to get some Honor Chicken, Crafty Mac catering coming in.
Yeah.
But Smoky D's is driving. It's just huge.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe it's not quite that high, but it's huge. It's huge all the way through Pork Expo. Pork Expo is the first weekend in June.
Are you doing Pork Expo again this year?
Oh yeah.
Oh, a good old Pork Expo. What a time.
We've gotten really good at it because I don't even have to be involved. That's what I love about it.
I don't know. I feel like the good old days were when you guys would set up a camp and we would come and work and just hang out. Those were the good old days.
Yeah.
Back when
we used to bring 5 ELEVXs from Old Hickory in and cook everything on site. Yeah, no. That was a lot of work. That was a lot of overhead. I think we probably are much more profitable now doing it all out of Second Avenue.
I mean, yeah.
Sure.
Probably true, but it's not as much fun.
When we used to rent campers and stay in campers out there because that way we didn't have to have employees drive home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, no. I'm starting to have nightmares.
Of the next month coming up.
Oh, just could you imagine being in the middle of Pork Expo and throwing a chain on a smoker?
No.
Oh, God.
When they're all full and you got lunch that has to go. I mean, we used to load those smokers with ribs and everything. I mean, we used to have hundreds and hundreds of racks of ribs that had to be out to, we had 19 hospitality tents that all had to be served at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
you guys have cut back a lot too, haven't you?
Yeah. That event is cut back ever since
that's
it
really
was kind of yeah. It's cut back quite a bit.
Do you think it'll ever get back to its glory?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it has been 5 years, so if it hasn't already, it probably won't.
Yeah, I don't know. I think people have just gotten into smaller. They've learned that they can get away with maybe there's not as much value in feeding a full meal. I mean, if I'm a vendor out there, I'm probably just gonna do appetizer type stuff, snacky type stuff. Because if I'm a farmer or an industry person, I'm gonna stop at 5 or 6 tents. I'm not gonna eat 5 or 6 meals.
Right.
Mainly what they need to feed is their employees.
Yeah.
So figure out a way to feed your employees and then figure out a way to do bacon wrapped meatballs or, just something pork related.
Sure.
Hog wings or something.
Yeah.
I know that's always been a big event for you.
Yeah.
It used to be my favorite week of the year.
It's never been my favorite week of the year, Randy.
I was going to say.
Fuck.
I wasn't involved as much with like the prep though. I just got to show up and drive the golf carts around.
It used to start in like February. Well, it used to start like January 3rd. People would start calling. You got menu? You got menu? I'm like, no.
Oh my God.
We just got done with the holidays. Let us breathe for a minute. Call me back February 1st.
Right.
On February 1st, we still wouldn't have it done. And we're like, okay, we'll get to it. And then by the end of February, we'd finally get a menu up. And we used to serve at one point, we had 85 menu items.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. 85 different menu items. 19 hospitality tents. Most of them 2 meals a day.
Breakfast and lunch?
Lunch and dinner?
Lunch and dinner mainly.
Okay.
We did do a little bit of breakfast, but even we used to even do beer, all the
Yeah.
soda service.
Really?
And so I mean,
Yeah.
we'd be out there at 2 o'clock in the morning loading these smokers. And then all these, you'd run your employees as hard as you could run them. But then happy hour would hit. We'd get all the food served. The employees would disappear. And then all the customer go, "Hey, I'm out of Coors Light. Can you bring me some more Coors Light?" Yep. Here comes Darren. I'll get you your case of Coors Light that we got stacked in the cooler, and we'll run them over on the golf cart and get them a case of Coors Light. Finally, we
Yeah.
said, yeah, ixnay that. We're ixnay, and we're not doing any more soda. We used to have a trailer load of soda and a trailer. And so we'd have Coke bring us a whole truckload of soda out, and we'd feed
Right.
off of it. And then they'd have to take back what was left and get credit for it and beer. And finally, we're like, nope, you can order that through the fairgrounds and pay twice as much. Is fine. So, yeah, we're not doing drink service. Yeah, we've gotten a little
So
smarter about
back
that.
to
Yeah.
Minnesota in May. How was that contest?
It was good. They had 58 pro teams. I think they had 99 some total teams.
You know,
Oh, wow.
So,
I saw that, Darren, and my question is, why do they have so many people turn out for it when there's these other contests that don't have enough to even call it a qualifier? Or what's your thought on that?
I don't know. I think part of it has to do with it's early in the year.
Okay, I would go with that.
I think there's no other contest on this weekend. There was one
Really?
down in Kennett, Missouri, I think was the only other
Okay.
contest that I know of. So I think weekends make a lot of difference.
Sure.
I think there's still a pretty strong hold of barbecue teams up in the upper Midwest.
Right.
So there's a lot of Minnesota teams. There was a lot of Minnesota teams, quite a few Iowa teams. There was teams from Missouri up there.
Right.
So I don't know. Relatively, a well-run contest. Minnesota
Well, I was
Barbecue
going to
Society
say,
puts it on.
it's pretty well over the years has always had a good reputation as a nice contest.
Yep. Weather was absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nice. We got a little bit of rain. We weren't supposed to get rain, but we got a little shower for about 15 minutes on Friday night. But we didn't get up there. A lot of people got up there on Thursday, and evidently a drunk front really moved in Thursday night because
Right.
everybody that was there Thursday did not look very well when I got there at 8:30 on Friday morning.
Okay.
So we got up there. We got up early, Jeff and I. We left at 5 o'clock on Friday and got up there about 8:30 Friday morning. And when we got there, people were just starting to come out of their trailers looking like zombies. And they had not been in their trailers very long, I don't think.
Not very long, you don't think?
No, they were very weary-eyed. So, but we got all set up. It was our first. We switched barbecue trailers again, so it was our first trip on. With the old Shiggin trailer, we bought the old Shiggin trailer.
Right.
Mounted the new pit on it. Not sure if we talked about that or not, but
No.
about our Bishop mounting the barbecue trailer. Did we talk about
No.
No, not
I
that
don't think so.
that? Oh, well, so I had sold a Jambo, an enclosed Jambo. I'd bought it from Toad Holler Barbecue, old Dougie and the gang, back
Right.
years ago. And it was just sitting in the garage. And of course, like every other pit that sits in the garage, I hear about it all the time from
Right.
my wife going, "You should never use that pit, or should we just get rid of it?" And I'm like, well, I'm not making any more of them. So anyway, T-Rex had wanted that Jambo, and I said, I'll sell it to you. So I sold him the Jambo on a condition like any other Jambo I've ever sold, that if you ever sell that Jambo, I get a first chance to buy it back at the same price.
Right.
Right? So we had that deal. I sold it to him a couple of years ago. So I decided, I had bought this brand new trailer, which had some quirks to it. We had some issues with it, and air conditioning went bad, and we had the flooring was not good, which I replaced, and we replaced the air conditioner. And so I had this trailer that I've pretty much redone. It's a beautiful
Right.
trailer. And the reason I bought this because it was 20 foot long and I could leave it hooked to my motorhome and back it into my garage and leave it all hooked up, which I did all winter long, but I hated it because I couldn't get around it. So I had trouble getting to the shelving units and stuff in my garage around it. So what happened is I ended up parking the trailer in the third bay garage anyway. So here I was cooking outside the trailer. And if it rained, then I didn't have a canopy and whatever. So
right.
if I was cooking outside the trailer, then it was problematic, you know. And Sherry's like, then you got every time you wanted to get up, me climbing up the steps and down. And Sherry's like, you're not getting any younger. And I'm like, it doesn't bug me. I don't mind on this trailer at all. But I took a $20,000 trailer and put a Jambo on it, and then put $17,000 worth of Moduline cabinets in it, state of the art, beautiful cabinets, brand new refrigerator in it. So I got this trailer loaded to the tune of $50,000.
Right.
There's no way I'll ever get $50,000 in it. And then we decide we're going to buy this porch trailer.
Okay.
So I buy the porch trailer, and I go and I buy the Jambo back from T-Rex.
Okay.
And he goes, I'll sell you this Jambo back. I'm fine. It's a lot easier than redoing my original Jambo that's sitting in the corner of the garage because it's all beat to shit. And it really needed some love. So I'm like, I'll just buy this brand new one back. So I buy the brand new Jambo back, and he comes over and he goes, well, let's mount it. So we get the plate, and this is 2 weeks ago. And so we get the plate and we get it out in my house, and I got a forklift there with long forks, and we get the plate and we have to re-drill holes, and we mount this thing up. And so we're going to lift it, and we're trying to figure out, do we want to go through here, or do we go underneath the entire plate and just lift it up, the entire plate, and put it on there, instead of lifting the plate up and then trying to figure out where it goes on the trailer and then rolling the Jambo up on it. So we decide that we're going to mount it to the plate and lift the entire thing up with the forklift. So we go with that plan. So we're lifting, but we couldn't get the forks all the way underneath it. So we're out in the middle of the driveway, and the neighbors are there, and we're starting to congregate. And so we're getting underneath, and we're just within an inch of getting this son of a bitch underneath. And T-Rex tells me, he says, hey, let's just lift it up a little bit more. I'm going to block it. Right. And then I'm going to block it up, and then you can slide underneath it just a little bit more. I said, okay, fine. So he grabs a block of wood and he blocks it. And I start to set it down. And just as I start to set it down, he says, I never heard it, that, hey, whoa, hang on. But I set it down. As soon as I set it down on that block of wood, the brand new Jambo on the plate goes boom.
Oh.
And I tip the Jambo on its side, crashing to the ground on the plate. So now I have a Jambo, brand new, sitting on its side on its plate. Now, Sherry's mowing the lawn. And T-Rex is like having a mental breakdown. He's like holding his hands, and he's going, oh my God. And I'm like, dude, it's just a Jambo. Nobody got hurt. Luckily, my neighbor, Melinda, she was on the other side of it like 2 seconds before it, and she luckily moved around because it would have been on top of her. But I said, luckily, nobody got hurt. It's just a fucking Jambo, right? You can replace these shit and things. I got 10 of them, right? So anyway, flipped it over. And he's like, how are we going to get it back up? I'm like, I'm just going to lift up and side tilt the forklift. And so I got a better hold on it. And I was able to get it up and side tilt it. And so we got her back under. And then we came to our senses and like, hey, why don't we just go underneath between the plate and block it up, and then we can just lift it up and get it on the trailer. So we did that the right way we should have done it the first place, and got it right on the trailer, right where it needed to be. But bent it didn't hurt the back of it, but boy did it crumple the top of that son of a bitch. The panel on the enclosed, it crumpled it up about 3/4 of an inch. And really can't tell going down the road, but boy, you get up and it looked like dog shit. Yeah. And so he came out the next day, and I happened to be there, and I was drilling holes, and I was going to attach it to the plate down because we had
Right.
had enough that night. I said, just leave it, I'll attach it. So I attach it. He goes, what are you doing? I said, what are you doing? He goes, I'm going to take this plate off, take it to my auto body guy. We're going to get this thing fixed. I'm like, we don't need to fix it. He goes, we're going to get it fixed. So anyway, he took it off to the body shop to get it fixed. Well, when we decided to go to Minnesota, he's like, we're going to have to put that back on. Otherwise, it's just going to flap in the wind, missing that
Right.
panel. Well, we had a hell of a time getting it back on a wood stick. So we had a fucking just cluster fucking it with screws instead of rivets. And it looks pretty redneck right now. But I got it, it
Did
worked.
it hold?
It
works?
didn't fall off. Even though I did take my tool bag with self-tapping screws in case.
Just a little add-on.
Yeah, but everything else on that trailer broke on the, you buy the used trailer and, hey, everything work? Oh, yeah, everything works. Everything works great, except for, the sink didn't get winterized. So we went to turn on the water. And I'm like, why don't we have any water? And well, the valves underneath, we filled it full of water, and I thought it had overflowed, so I shut off the water. Well, then I went to bed. That was late that night. Well, I went to bed. Well, it had drained all the water out of the tank because we didn't fucking close the tank.
Okay.
Drained out the tank, so we were empty. Well, then we get up there and we're like, why won't this sumbitch prime? So we put water to it. We ran hoses, put water to it. Went to turn on the water, and we could never get the prime. And I'm like, what's going on? Why won't this prime? So then we hooked it direct to water. Why it wouldn't prime us, because as soon as we hooked it up to water, the fucking sink foul went to spewed all over the place because it didn't get water winterized, so it needed a new sink faucet. That's probably a Mother's Day present I'll get for Sherry today. Get done.
Yeah.
And then we plugged in the refrigerator. It's about 10 years old, maybe longer. It cooled down to 52 degrees and then shut off.
Oh, shit.
The shock absorbers on the stick broke off on the way up. I got like 10 different items that's busted on the thing that would get a fix.
God damn.
But by God, it'll work when we get done with it.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm thinking
You'll know everything works on it.
I tell you what, I think if the tires, I noticed the two back tires. I mean, the tires look good. I was going around. Well, then I thought the night before, I was like, well, I'm going to air up these tires, make sure they got the right amount of pressure. Well, when you get close and personal with the tires, airing them up, and you start to read the pressure on them, you notice two tires are brand new on the backside, and the front ones are all weather torn. And I'm like, oh, boy, I really shouldn't be going down the road with these things because they're weather pitted all the way around.
Right.
But I'm like, too late. We'll just throw a spare in and off we go. So I need to get 2 new sets of tires on them. And so, yeah. Yeah.
But you didn't blow a tire on the way up there or back.
No, or back.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's positive. I might even try and run it. I may even try and run it to a Tumlin back, but
That's
and then
next
we went to
weekend?
then we went to raise the Jambo, and when Jamie makes the Jambos, he on the hinges, he takes a stainless steel screw and he puts a stainless steel screw as a door stop, and he puts a little tack weld on it.
Uh-huh.
Well, evidently when you tip over a Jambo like that and the doors fly open, it breaks that tack weld.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So when you
Makes
go to
sense.
open it, the doors
It just
go
keeps
all-
going on.
It keeps going on. So luckily we found with the screw was still in there.
Uh-huh.
So we were able to get the screw loose, and we were able to kind of pound it back in. We didn't tack weld it, but we were able to pound it back in and create our own temporary door stop in. So we didn't have to
keep
there.
getting away from
so-
you.
So I'm thinking if
Nick.
barbecue doesn't work out for me, I might think of trailer repair shop,
Fabrication.
fabrication shop. Getting pretty good at
That
it.
sounds better than repair. Yeah.
Fabrication.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
you
yeah.
might be onto something.
but we had a good cook. I got a brand new Traeger. I told Jeff I needed a Traeger. He's always had a Traeger mounted on this trailer, and I said, hey, I know you got Traegers sitting around in your damn garage that are brand new. So I said, I need one of those. He goes, what? And I said, just bring me one of the son of a bitches, one of the old ones that you've never fired up. Just bring it to me.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'll do it. So he brought me a brand new Traeger and we fired it up and we cooked a 1-meat rib on Friday night contest. We never do that, but we thought, well, we'll just fire up this Traeger and cook a 1-meat rib. And so I kind of let Jeff, he'll blame me for this, but we were cooking ribs and he was kind of nervous because he's like, well, when do you want me to pull them off? I'm like, just, take them up to like 210 or so. Just feel them. Yeah. And we're constant, and we're just sitting down below. And he's like, well, you think they're done? I said, I don't know. You just pull them off when you think they're done. He goes, I don't think they're done. And Jeff and I are sitting below and we're like, Jeff's like, they're done. And I'm like, yeah, I know they're done. And so we'll just let him go with it. So anyway, he's like, I don't think they're done yet. I'm like, okay, fine. Pull them off when you think they're done. So we turned him in and we got a comment card, mushy.
Mushy.
End up getting 34th place in ribs or something in the 1-meat challenge. So anyway, we decided we were going to cook pork chop ribs on Saturday. We were going to turn them in tight, and then we last minute changed our mind and decided we were going to try and cook normal run-of-the-mill ribs. And so, but anyway, we cooked chicken. It turned out really well. I think we ended up hitting 22nd chicken. I think we were first on our table though, 22nd place chicken, and then we ended up getting 31st place in ribs once again. I hated the ribs. 13th in pork out of 58. Wasn't bad. First on the table. And then hit second place brisket.
Good for you.
Good. Yeah, hit second place brisket. Brisket's been on a pretty good roll, so I like hitting. And then we ended up hitting 6th overall, just with the second place brisket.
That second, it's amazing on a big contest like that how
Yep.
hitting one up high really will pull the middle of the pack stuff all the way up.
Yeah, and the brisket was really good. We turned in burnt ends, and I've been just overcooking the shit out of burnt ends. And Jeff was doing all the tasting of the food, and so I gave him a burnt end, and I said, "Here, taste this." And he goes, "Oh, that tastes really good." He goes, "But it is way overdone." And I said, "Okay, good. We're turning them in." He goes, "What?" I said, "Yep, we're turning them in." "What do you mean? It's way overdone." I said, "Yep, we're turning them in." That's how they've been scoring. So anyway, I sliced them up and put them back on the cooker. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "We're just giving them some more flavor." So anyway, we had turned him. There was a master judge cooking with Shiggin and Rennan, or just he was helping him at the end or whatever. And I took a burnt end over to him. I said, "Here, what do you think?" He goes, "Wow, that tastes really good." He goes, "Bit overdone." He goes, "But I don't think I would cut it down. It tastes so good. I don't think I would score it down for tenderness," which I thought was kind of weird. That
because it tastes good.
I didn't think I would score it down for tenderness.
Huh.
And it's taste, tenderness, and appearance, right?
So we're learning a lot about
judging.
The judging system.
Yeah. Oh, are we learning a lot, or is it just bringing it out in front?
Yeah,
stuff we already knew.
Just
stuff we already knew.
I knew that. It's just bringing it out.
Yeah.
Well,
just pretty interesting, but they tasted good. So hey, taste was
as long as it tastes good.
Yeah, that's right.
Tastes good, but I mean, I have been mushing the shit out of. Because of Wagyu points, man, you have to mush the shit out of them in order to get them. You have to, in order to get them rendered, you have to mush the shit out of them.
Right.
And so I've been mushing the shit out of them, and I've been turning them in. And I finally, once I started turning in burnt ends again, I started scoring again. So I mean,
because there for a while you weren't.
I haven't turned in burnt ends in the last 3 or 4 years, but
haven't you really?
Back in 2014, 2015, we won Brisket Team of the Year 2 years in a row, and I turned in burnt ends every single time, never even questioned it, turned it in. Well, but what we find with the briskets, the briskets now versus then are so much more marbled than they were back then.
Right.
It was never a problem. We just used to when our brisket was done, we used to pull the point off, throw it in the Cambro, and just slice it up and turn it in.
Right.
You can't do that anymore because these points are so marbled. Most guys don't even cook them. They're just so marbled. Well, I don't care how marbled it is now. I just cook the shit out of it. I don't even pay attention. I just pull it when I get done with chicken. I don't even. I just when I get done with chicken, I take it off and throw it in the Cambro.
So what make you say a lot of guys won't cook them because they're marbled? What does that do? Why don't they turn them in?
Well, because marbling, if they're that marbled, and if you don't cook them and cook them and cook them and cook them,
Okay.
and get them that, then when you go to bite it, it's just like jelly.
Sure.
Especially if it cools down a little bit, like when it gets to a judge's mouth, it is just like eating fucking gum.
Okay.
I mean, it's just horrible.
So you got to just keep cooking them and cooking them.
Yeah. And then it finally, it just braises that fat out of there finally.
Huh. Okay. I was just curious how.
And so my rule is if I can get it to hold a cube shape, it's still game.
Right.
I mean, in Minnesota in May, it was, or in Fire on Ice, mine was so overdone. I took the brisket and threw it in the damn snowbank, the point to set it up.
To get her set. Yeah.
Trying to get it. I mean, and it would probably work if I'd get up even earlier. It'd probably work if I pulled the old Randy Twyford trick, from years ago and ice bagged that bitch. Where, years ago, Randy, when we were at a barbecue contest, Randy came to me. I don't even know where we were. We were probably Westmont, Illinois or something. He came to me and goes, "Oh my God, I just overcooked the shit out of my brisket. I'm just
Bruce Ring told me.
Oh, Jeff City.
Yeah, Bruce Ring told me.
And he's like, "What do I do?" And I'm like, "Randy, it's only fucking 8:00 in the morning." I said, "Just fucking ice it down and reheat it." And he goes, "What?" I said, "Yeah, just get her cooled down. Get her cooled down for like an hour. Get her way cooled down, and then reheat it. So get it firmed up, and then reheat it enough so it's warm, and it'll firm up." And then some bitch did that and scored in brisket. So then every time at a contest, when it was 9:00 in the morning, and old Twyford would come around and look for a fucking ice bag, you knew he was going to win brisket.
Yeah. And that couple of years that we did that, we were pretty good in brisket.
Yeah. Because Q-Owl used to do that all the time. He used to cook his brisket on Friday and cool that sumbitch down. And reheat it. Because brisket always tastes better the second day.
Huh.
He cooked a lot of stuff on Fridays, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It was fun. We had a good time. Jeff and I had a good time talking business. We talked a lot about business, and since he delivers a lot of food and sees a lot of kitchens, he has a lot of intel.
I bet he does.
He's like, "Why aren't you doing onion rings? They're so cheap. They're so cheap to do." And I'm like, "I don't have fryer space." He's like, "Well, you could take out this and you could do this or whatever." And I'm like, "People would love it if we did onion rings, but I'd have to have one person that on staff that did nothing but onion rings."
I would believe that.
Did you guys ever have cheese curds? Did I make that up in my head?
What?
Have you guys ever had cheese curds?
We have cheese curds. Now at Smoky D's, we have like cheese balls. We've had the same ones that I had when I was a kid at the golf course. That's the ones that we still serve today.
Yeah.
At the Jam, we actually have a real authentic cheese curd. It comes in pre-breaded, but these, I mean, he's talking about some of these restaurants in town are going through 600 pounds of onions a week.
Yeah, onion rings are the best.
Yeah.
Making their own?
Making their own, yep.
Making their own.
Thin, super thin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Crispy.
Super thin type thing. We also talked a lot about our ghost kitchen, talking about different things about how do we do that. And he's a big believer that we should open a Tex-Mex Mexican restaurant as part of our ghost kitchen. And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, look at it. You have every ingredient already there.
Right.
We
You
have
do.
every ingredient, every protein. You got chicken
And
thighs for the chicken. You got brisket that you can use for the tacos. You got pork butts for the carnitas. You're just
he's
using
not
every
wrong.
one of the ingredients. You got all the vegetables. You know,
And you could do like Mexican rice and
yeah,
bring in your rice bowl concept.
yeah.
He's not wrong. And that people do love their Mexican food.
Yeah, I think we would try and make it different. And we were talking about making it a play more on Tex-Mex versus traditional
Yeah.
Mexican.
Right.
Which
I
makes
would agree.
sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Holds really well.
That's
We
true.
have our own homemade chorizo.
Did
Yeah.
Sherry say
we
could
have
you
we have queso. We have salsas we already make. From
did
scratch.
Sherry did Sherry say you could do another concept in the
Sure,
ghost kitchen?
as long as I'm not opening other restaurant buildings.
Okay. Then yeah, let's do Mexican. You'd have to test the travel for the ghost kitchen though.
Have to test the travel?
Yeah, like how does it travel? I feel like Mexican
Nothing.
wouldn't travel.
What do you
Like the
mean? Nothing
queso?
travels better than Mexican.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't know. I feel like queso gets weird.
What?
I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
I think you're way overthinking it. I think nothing travels better than Mexican.
I would agree with you on that, Darren. And I see the amount of people that order out Mexican food, and it's when we go to our Saturday night Mexican fiesta.
Oh, you're a Saturday night Mexican fiesta guy?
Oh yeah, yeah, and there's just constantly people doing carry out.
Yeah. Maybe you're right.
And this would be authentic Mexican,
This is authentic too.
isn't it?
They don't speak English.
See. What do you get?
Sí, señor. ¿Cómo está?
What do you get? What do you get, Randy? Do you get the same thing every week?
No. They have a fajita nachos that I'm pretty hankering to, and
Ooh.
then I'll go around to a couple other things. And every time I kind of go a different direction, I get bam.
So the fajita nachos is just a nacho with fajita meat and peppers and onions on top of it with queso all over top of it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I have a restaurant review. Change the subject.
Whoa.
Feel free.
Oh wait, you have a restaurant review?
That
You don't have a restaurant.
Well, a food truck review.
Okay.
But
You
it's
have a
not my
review.
food truck.
Wait a minute.
He's giving a review.
Oh, okay. Okay. I got it.
You know, there's, and you'd mentioned it's some company out of Minnesota or someplace, Darren, that has these fish trucks.
Yeah.
I finally ate at one of them.
Yeah. The,
what is it?
On the hook. On the hook.
On the hook. I went to their Facebook page. They've got a bunch of these trucks all over the country.
All over the place.
All over the country. And went there and ate and had the cod special. The cod, that's all they have is
That's all
battered
they have.
cod.
Yep.
Oh.
And
Yes.
I wasn't real pleased with it.
You weren't?
No, it's too doughy. I think they're a little heavy on their batter.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for this to be a negative review.
Well,
You have to prepare yourself for negative reviews?
Sometimes. Well, on our podcast, we try to be positive here. We're positive people.
You got to call
the
us.
fries were good.
Oh.
The fries were good. They were just bagged fries, you know. And but yeah, I was
a little doughy on the.
very doughy.
Do you think it's because it had sat and they didn't thin down the batter enough? Could they have just thinned the batter down a little bit and been?
I think that if they'd have thinned the batter down, you'd have got more fish than you did dough. I got more batter than I did fish.
Huh.
But there was people coming to it, so.
Oh, they're popular. I had it once. It wasn't memorable, but I don't remember it being bad.
And it's kind of interesting owning a food truck and then going to get food at a food truck and the things you see that you notice, and it's like, that's why we don't do things like that, you know.
Yeah.
Like there's 2 cases of Ham's beer sitting at the back door with the door wide open.
Was it beer battered fish?
It may have been beer battered fish. Maybe that's what it was. But there's 2 cases piled up in the back door, so.
Well, it makes sense if it was beer battered fish, why you would use cheap ass shitty beer.
Yeah.
Huh.
From the land of sky blue water. Hams.
I remember that after the Lawrence Welk show, they used to have that commercial on.
Surely.
Before Virtual Orb came on.
You guys are old.
But anyway, it was just kind of interesting seeing how they do things and stuff. And as soon as I told the guy that I owned a food truck, he's like, "You want to trade food?" I'm like, "I don't have my food truck here." Oh, okay. I didn't know whether you just pulled on the lot and was going to sell with us, you know. And I'm like, no. Well, sometime if we're together, let's trade food. And I'm like, okay, all right, you bet, no problem.
God. Yeah, food truck. Yeah, I finally got mine back.
Oh, did you?
I did. You know what? I drove past it the other day, and I feel like you're sending mixed signals, and that needs to go in a warehouse or a shed or somewhere else.
Yeah, I got sick of my wife looking at it every day up the corporate warehouse, so I put it down at 2nd Avenue. So I got to go.
Everyone's gonna be like,
I just got to go
they
get
got the food
pictures
truck.
of it. I might sell that sumbitch for $5,000 just so it goes. No, I'm not going to sell it for $5,000.
I was gonna say, if you do, maybe I'll take it. Just kidding. I can't afford it. My dog tried to die.
I got to go get pictures taken of that thing.
Well, we've come
I
to
got
the
plenty.
dilemma on our generator problems. We're going to take it to St. Louis and have the generator worked on, the whole coolant system. It gets too hot and shuts itself down. So,
Can't you just blow a fan on it?
well, that's part of it. When you're traveling, it'll run. But when you stop, it doesn't have the airflow going through it, and it gets hot and shuts itself down.
So
Now,
Put a
I've
fan
been,
Can't you
on it.
redneck it and just put a fan on it?
well, that'd be
So
kind of
do-
like which is first, the chicken or the egg. You'd have to have the power to run the generator, and
That's a good point.
the generator have the power to run that.
You can get
fan.
like a battery powered fan.
Well,
no.
we're gonna go get it fixed, and
Yeah.
I hate
Yep.
spending the money, but it's a lot easier. Going to be easier than dragging. For the last probably 3 weeks, we've been dragging a generator around with us in a van. So you got a separate vehicle always with you, and then you got to get out and
Boy,
we're on street.
that welded bracket probably would have paid for itself by now.
Yeah. And then, the guys will get underneath it to change the cords over. They don't think about laying underneath a truck with their legs out on the road. And I'm just like, and here I've got a kid, one of the guys that works for me is in Los Angeles Raiders, not Los Angeles, Chargers. The Chargers mini camp this weekend. The last thing I need him to do is get his legs ran over, I'm like, God damn it, watch where you're laying on this stuff. And I'm standing out there in car. I'd rather get hit than have his legs run over,
Right.
Yeah.
So,
That makes sense.
but that's another thing we've been watching. Colin, he's got picked to go out to the Chargers mini camp. So,
Man.
That's exciting.
yeah, he'll be back tomorrow from that. So, and then wait to hear. So,
Then wait to hear.
yeah. So, but the thing of the generator, we thought we were going to be out of commission, but we talked to the shop foreman, so we're going to have to drive it to St. Louis. They unload the generator, then bring it home, and then we can run it on the the Honda generator. And then when they get that generator fixed, then go back down and have it put back on. So I really don't want to drive 2 trips to St. Louis, but it seems like that's what we're going to have to end up doing. So
How far of a drive is that for you?
about an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh.
But it's driving that food truck
in a food truck.
2.5.
So that seems like 10 hours in a fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get the shit beat out of you with every bump in the road and stuff, and then you're in St. Louis with 6 lanes of traffic. Yeah. And your butt's puckered like that.
Hell. Illinois. Governor Pritzker's got them roads. That tax dollars he's collecting, he's got them roads smooth.
Well, it is, as he runs for president, you know.
Oh, jeez.
He's a good man. Yeah, right. So anyway, it'll be good to get the generator back in operation. And now, of course, they give me the price and everything on it. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's go ahead and do it. Well, we got to see about how soon we can get the parts. So, you know, there'll be some little solenoid will be in Bangladesh. Back-ordered and sub-ordered into Bangladesh or something, you know, and we won't be able to get the fucker in, you know.
Yeah.
And now that we decided to do it, after they finally got me a price. They got me a price and I decided the same within 2 hours. Not because it was cheap, but just because I'm tired of fucking with it, you know. And if I'm going to sell the generator, it's going to sell easier with a generator. The food truck, if I want to sell the food truck, it's going to sell easier with a generator running. So,
yeah, you won't sell a food truck.
So, I looked at it as an investment in prosperity.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, like investment. I'm trying to do the investment at the jam. You know, I woke up, what was that? Last Monday morning I woke up, I was not in a good mood. And I was pissed off at the political landscape of our government at our local government level.
Oh, jeez.
I had waited
get into this?
almost 6 weeks on getting 5 weeks on getting my permit for my patio at the jam. And they were still fucking around. And I sent them, I woke up at 5 o'clock. I woke up and I got to the restaurant at 5 o'clock in the morning and I sent off a zinger.
Oh, great.
Of an email.
That's gonna speed it up.
I sent off a zinger and I'm like, you guys just don't know what it's like to run a business. I said, we move at a little faster pace than you guys and and called them everything but a redheaded stepchild. And,
Jesus Christ.
And, just let them know my feelings that I wasn't very happy.
Right.
I'm sure that was very well received.
At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I got a response from the head of the county saying, no, Darren, we do understand. And, you know, but there is issues we have to work through and whatever. And on Tuesday morning, I got my patio permit.
You're kidding me.
Nice.
Nope.
And you didn't have to do anything else.
Nope. Well, they were looking for something from a septic guy saying my septic system was big enough.
So
hopefully construction is supposed to start tomorrow on the patio.
So
that'll be nice.
Wait, I thought you already had a patio.
Well, I have a patio, but I've been trying to get a permit to cover the patio and put a fence all the way around.
Oh, okay, I got it.
So we're covering the patio and then putting ceiling fans and lights there and then putting a 6-foot poly fence all the way around it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that'll be the next thing that customers will be able to bitch about was, well, why didn't you put a patio I can see out?
Well, yeah, that will be.
But you know, the reason you don't put a patio you can see out is because then when you have windy days, like every other day in Iowa, then you can't sit on the patio.
Exactly. That's a good
Whereas
idea.
if I put a patio out there that has a fence around it, then it becomes like a second dining room, and almost every day you can sit out there because
Sure.
even if it's hot,
Yeah.
I have ceiling fans to keep air
You
moving.
got the ceiling fans and stuff.
But you get
Yeah.
the sense of being able to sit outside. So it's more about servability and being able to schedule servers for the patio out there
Yeah.
and have servers out there. So,
Well, yeah, and then
Which
when
makes
you have
sense.
well, yeah. Yep.
and they don't have to sit there and stare at the dogs barking across the street at the kennel and stare at the retention pond and the parking lot
And people staring at them.
right. And people climbing the fence to get on the patio and trying to figure out why they can't get waited on because we don't know they're there.
That happens at Smoky D's a lot.
Right.
That always blew my mind at Smoky D's when that would happen because we don't have you don't have servers anyway, so it's like that doesn't make any sense.
And
And
you have big signs that say,
yeah, and then they're
Yeah.
always like, yeah, they always got something, and you're like, we
"I'm
giving
sitting
you
here for
every
a
piece
half
of
hour. Why
evidence.
hasn't anybody waited on me?"
I'm giving you every piece of evidence that this is not how this works, and you still chose not to listen. So that's on you.
So now I can answer. I got to get the big sign that says "No dogs allowed on the patio," because that'll be the next thing.
Right.
Like today, this past week, I've answered 50,000 messages about, will you be accepting Mother's Day reservations? Do you be serving brunch on Mother's Day? You can call it whatever you want. Just come in and order off the menu. And will you have mimosas on Mother's Day? Yeah, I'm going to get a liquor license just for that day. Sure, that'd be great. And then I almost posted out there and said, no, the Jam is the kind of place that if you don't like your mother, why don't you bring her in on Mother's Day? Because if you don't like her, you got to do something with her on Mother's Day, and we'll get you in and out in 30 minutes. So you can spend the least amount of time with her.
Oh, boy, Darren. Oh, boy. Think about it.
Think about it.
Think about it.
Think about it. Emma,
Well,
you haven't had much to say today.
Not much to say.
We haven't let you go. She's coming from the boyfriend's studio. She's having to be quiet. He's probably in bed.
Yes, but I don't have to be quiet.
She's got a smile on her face this morning,
Yeah.
Randy. She's good.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I'm just happy to be alive.
There you
Look
go.
at my dogs. My beautiful, beautiful dogs. Happy to be alive.
They are.
So, we got anything else?
Both. I don't think so.
That's Randy's cue that he's got to poop.
No, I got briskets on. I got to get pulled off the pit.
Oh,
I got to chop 3 cases of briskets. So,
damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't have anything. Been laying
I
low.
think we're good for now.
all right.
Okay. Well, if you haven't already, follow us on social media at Cue the Mic Pod. Find us on YouTube at Cue the Mic Podcast. Like, follow, subscribe, do all the things. You know the drill. Randy, take it away.
Boom. Out of here.
Man,
Done.
that was a good one.
That was
Boom.
loud.
We're out of here. See you. Bye.
We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys
Adios.
next week.